Got to bring them. Okay. So look, lots to get into. So it's Christmas time. There's 3 Sundays left in I'm counting today. After today, there are 3 Sundays left in 2014. You have 3 Sundays left to make this your year. Don't wait till midnight of 2014 to make your New Year's resolution. Be a new man and be a new woman right now. That way at midnight, December 31st, you can say, I've been changed for the last 3 weeks. I've been changed for the last month. I didn't wait till the last minute. I didn't wait till everybody else started. I started a long time ago. And change for you. Be a better you. Be a better dad. Be a better husband. Be a better father. Be a better son. Be a better employee. Be a better man. Be a better woman. Just for you. Amen. So today is, the month is a Christmas month. And with all the junk that's going on in the world, the United States trying to take down the 10 Commandments from the courtroom and trying to take Christ out of Christmas. And you know what? They should just go have their own holiday. Call it United Statesmas or something, you know. I won't mess with it, you know, whatever. Lowe's and Home Depot and all, they're trying to take the Christmas music out and change it. And there's even a store that they're hanging all their Christmas trees upside down. I said, Lord, what's going on? Did a study on food. You ever study food? I do. Every time I eat, I'm like, what the heck is in there? Every society that before it fell made the chef and their food the priority of their society. The Romans did it. The Persians did it. The Egyptians did it. When they ran out of things to put to rub in people's faces, when they ran out of things to divide society, it was always the chef. He was last. After they put the chef, my chef is better, and this restaurant is the best, and only the richest people can eat at this restaurant, and only the richest people can eat this kind of food. It was the beginning of the end of their society. Now, I've been watching TV. I think TV would have done it. I've been watching TVN. No, I've been watching TV, and all of it is about chefs and restaurants and making it. Have you ever just sat down and watched 4 hours of Cupcake Wars? Woo! I want to be a casualty in that battle. Just come out all pastried out. I lost. But there's one month of the year where we could come together and we can honor and we can refocus and we could think about our priorities. But there's a person that I want to talk about today that seems to be overlooked at different times in his career, but is an important figure to the fact that we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, which is what we'll be doing this month, is celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. And the man's name is Joseph. I want to talk about Joseph just for a moment. You know what Joseph was? Joseph was a stepdad. Did you know that? He was a stepdad, man. Jesus was not his son. You got to commend the step-parents, man. There's some good step-parents. There's some bad step-parents out there. There's some good step-parents out there. You know Pastor Misty's a stepmom. She's a stepmom. I told her, step all over them kids, Mama. Step all over them kids. She's a stepmom. Joseph was a stepdad. The husband of Mary, Joseph, plays an important role in the 2 Gospels narratives, Matthew and Luke, of the birth of Jesus. He is not named in Mark, and John mentions him only in reference to Jesus as the son of Joseph. At the age of 12, according to Luke, Jesus made a Passover visit to Jerusalem with his parents. This is Joseph's last appearance in the New Testament. Since Joseph was not involved in Jesus' ministry, many assume he died sometime during Jesus' youth. Both Matthew and Luke emphasize that Joseph was of the house of David. That's the only connection that makes Joseph important to the story, is that Joseph comes through the bloodline of kings. And because he married Mary, and Mary took on his last name, Mary and her children now are included in the bloodline of kings. Ooh, that's deep. Both Matthew and Luke emphasize that Joseph was of the house of David, and through Jesus also was counted as David's descendant. At the same time, both Gospels state that Mary and Joseph were betrothed but not yet married, when before they came together she found to be with child. But Joseph was a just man. Joseph was a good egg. Anybody ever told you that? You're a good egg. No, I tell you, they told me that. They told me I look like an egg. The brown egg. They look like a brown egg. And when God began to choose the husband for Mary, he chose a good man. He chose a good man because when Joseph found out that he was going to marry Mary, she had already been pregnant. And he said, how can you be pregnant when we ain't been together? Because the only way we could have been together is if we were married. And because we're not married, and you're with child. But it says, but Joseph was a just man. And though he did not understand what had happened to Mary, he had no desire to bring charges of adultery against her, since betrothal was as legal binding as marriage. He decided to divorce Mary quickly at this point. However, Joseph had the first of a series of remarkable dreams that guided him through the dramatic events surrounding Jesus' birth. In the first dream, an angel revealed that Mary's future son was of the Holy Spirit, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from the sins. The second dream came perhaps 2 years later, after Jesus was born, and the wise men traveling from the east had come unexpectedly to his parents' home in Bethlehem. When they departed, an angel warned Joseph in a dream that King Herod the Great would try to kill the child as instructed. Joseph took his family to Egypt for several months, or for perhaps years, until an angel in the third dream told him that it was safe to return. In a fourth dream, he was warned not to return to Bethlehem, where Herod's son and successor still posed a danger, but to withdraw to Galilee. Luke does not mention these dreams, but his gospel recounts that he needed to register for taxation in the city of David, brought Joseph and Mary from Nazareth to Bethlehem in the first place. So Joseph is turning out to be a really good stepdad. But really all Mary needs out of Joseph is her last name, is his last name. That's all she needs. She needs to be connected to Joseph because Joseph is the answer to the lineage of kings. And Jesus needed to be born through a bloodline that would have made him king eventually. Okay? Also, Joseph, well, let me read on. Joseph, village carpenter, eventually trained Jesus to follow in his footsteps, and Jesus himself apparently worked as a carpenter for years before his ministry began. In later Christian tradition, as stories concerning Mary's miraculous birth and childhood developed, and as the doctrine of her perpetual virginity evolved, the accounts of Joseph also became much more specific. For example, a late 2nd century tale called the Proto-Evangelism of James portrays Joseph as an elderly widower with grown sons who was chosen by by miraculous sign, a dove emerged from Joseph's walking staff and flew to his head to be caretaker of Mary, the pure virgin of the Lord, who had lived since infancy in the temple. Many other legends about Joseph developed through the centuries, rising him to a level of sanctity second only to that of Mary herself. Joseph was a good man. It's funny that Joseph's profession was carpenter. And Jesus became a carpenter because carpenters build something out of nothing. Carpenters they have a vision, they see it, they make things, they create things, they create places and opportunities. They make life for you easier and they make life for you better. It's like we are the project. He said to you, I am the clay. And you mold me into the way that you want to mold me. In other words, I am the undeveloped project. Build something in me. Create something in me. Make my foundation strong and build on who I am. You know that if you go into a building, an abandoned building, and the windows are cracked and the plumbing is cracked and the walls are cracked, they can still build. But if that foundation is cracked, they have to destroy it, start all over again. Jesus comes in and fixes our foundation and builds something like any great carpenter would. I want to talk to you today, and I've labeled the title of my sermon 2 titles. Number 1 title is Bloodline. Bloodline. The number 2 title is Marry That Man. Marry that man. I've been so frustrated lately when I look on the Facebook and I see young girls calling young men their husbands when they are not married. Because they want all the benefits of being married, but they have not got married. I want all the benefits of receiving a paycheck, but I don't want to go to work. And so I begin to think about the different things, and I begin to think about marriage, and and that brought me to the husband. And I began to think about who possibly was the greatest husband on earth, who possibly was the greatest husband, who possibly was in the top 5 of husbands above all husbands. And there he is in the corner, standing, old stepdad of the year, Joseph. When they say, who's your dad? I mean, who's your son? And Joseph said, well, that's my son over there, little Jesus. Little Jesus, I've been raising him. I've been calling him my own. I gave him my last name so that he can be a descendant of kings. Marry that man. Joseph was of the bloodline of David. And all Mary really needed was his last name. The word husband means one flesh, until death, love, live with for life, be satisfied with, instruct, honor, provide for, be faithful to, and confer with. That's what a good husband does. That's what a good husband does. If you are a young lady and you dating, or you engaged, or you looking, or you on the prowl, or you on the sneaks, or you trying to get your hooks in somebody, you better check off some of these things. Can you live with that person for life? Will you allow them to instruct you? You ever been down the street driving and your wife is a backseat driver? My wife got an invisible brake that never works. I told her, baby, you keep touching that brake. One day you're going to come out, I'm going to cut the brake line, and I'm going to stop it. You're going to keep going. Try to brake on me. I'll brake when I'm ready to brake. Well, can you marry a man that you can take instruction from? Are you so now I'm talking about love now. It said love here. I'm not talking about lust. There's something about lust that lacks respect. And there's something about love that brings respect. Honor, provide for, be faithful to, confer with. And the word marry